Hey everyone, Gill Gross here, post-match, Daniil Medvedev versus Stefanos Tsitsipas, Australian Open 2022 semifinal. If you're not here for spoilers, click off the video in 3, 2, 1. Daniil Medvedev will meet Rafael Nadal in the 2022 AO final in a rematch of the 2019 US Open final, which was such an epic that I think all tennis fans have such fond memories of. He defeats Stefanos Tsitsipas in 4 sets in this one. Kind of want to just say a quick word about Tsitsipas because most of my match analysis is going to be about things Medvedev did as the winner of this match. But I just want to start by saying this was an incredibly high-quality match. The first set, because it was a first set and it didn't have any, Nadal-Manarino tiebreakers, anything crazy like that, it's probably not going to be remembered. It was really one of the higher quality sets that we'll probably see in 2022 in men's tennis. I mean, it was just kind of a display of two elite players playing the best they can possibly play at the same exact time. And again, there was no crazy drama. It wasn't wild, but I thought it was amazing. Anyway, in the big picture, though, I mean, it was just very impressive how well Tsitsipas ended up playing towards the end of this tournament. Given the elbow, given the change in strings, it just sets him up very, very well for stops that are coming up now at the beginning of the season that conditions-wise are much more suitable for him, Indian Wells, Miami, and then the clay. So I just wanted to say that. It was a very good tournament for Tsitsipas. But Daniil Medvedev, the better player in this semifinal. And I think that starts with the serve return, which I think before the match was my number one key. And it's too much of a disadvantage to overcome for Tsitsipas. It's an amazing advantage for Medvedev that he serves better and he returns better. And on a quick court like this, it's going to make for a large discrepancy in returns, percentage of returns in play. So here's what it ended up being. Medvedev making 76% of returns in play, 91 out of 120 serve points. Tsitsipas making 51% of returns in play. So 3 out of 4 serves coming back on Tsitsipas service games, only 2 out of 4 returns coming back on Medvedev service games. And just, mathematically, how much better does Tsitsipas need to play than Medvedev in order to make up that difference when, we're talking quite a bit. That's a big percentage to make up. Remember, if you look at total points won in a tennis match, in any close tennis match, these matches aren't decided by a lot. These are thin margins. And when you have dynamics such as the Medvedev-Tsitsipas serve return dynamic on a quick hard court, it is not going to be easy for Tsitsipas to win this match. And just to illustrate the point further, the reason surface matters is because on clay, Tsitsipas would make more returns. Medvedev would still make most of his returns. And the playing field would just be even. It would be probably like 62% returns in play by Tsitsipas, 78% returns in play by Medvedev, because you really can't get much better than what he did. But, it would be interesting. I could have gone back to the Roland Garros match and looked, and I didn't. But it evens out the playing field. The slower the surface, the less this dynamic plays out. So you got to start there. Medvedev, really good serving match, and such a amazing returning match as well. Now, he does give something up in returning from as far back as he does. He makes more in play, but there is a trade-off. Every tactic has a trade-off, and the trade-off is that he's in bad position initially, and he needs to try to use his speed to make up that position, and Tsitsipas is going to be very good at playing that first ball and coming in to try to take advantage of Medvedev's defensive and disadvantageous court position, which Stefanos Tsitsipas did. However, Medvedev is very fast, and Medvedev has great passing shots. So what was very clear that this match was going to be decided by some key passing shot volley sequences. And who is going to come out there? Well, let's kind of look at it. First set tiebreak, Tsitsipas was up a break, 4-3, up a mini break. And how did Medvedev get that mini break back? Forehand inside out approach. Medvedev hits the backhand pass right up the middle low. Tsitsipas doesn't finish the forehand volley. Medvedev passes down the line. Now we go to the third set. 4-5, love 15 on Tsitsipas's serve. One set apiece here. Remember, forehand inside out approach. Medvedev anticipated it. He was going that way. He knew it was going that direction. And he lines up a perfect pass down the line, which Tsitsipas didn't even come close to touching. Now we go to the fourth set. That game, that 4-5 game, Medvedev broke to win the third set. Now we go to the fourth set. 1-2 on serve. And another big spot here, 15 all. And once again, Tsitsipas forehand inside out approach. Medvedev backhand pass down the line. The very same sequence. Then on the next point, and it's 15-30 here, Tsitsipas serve and volley. Medvedev makes a low return. Tsitsipas nets the volley. So again, it was going to come down to on a couple of big points on Tsitsipas's serve. We know how these points are going to go. We know that Steph is going to serve and hit approach shots. He's going to serve volley. And it's not that that's the wrong play. That's the right play. But will Medvedev make great passing shots? Will Tsitsipas make great volleys? Now, here's the one thing that I think Tsitsipas can definitely be better on tactically. He's going to Medvedev's backhand every single time. And this is something that I wouldn't have remembered. But obviously, what I like to do in a match like this is I like to look over my notes and rewatch my post-match video when in prior meetings. So I watched the video from last year's semifinal, and sure enough, I said Tsitsipas approached every time to the backhand, to the Medvedev backhand, every single time. And at the time, I didn't hate it because Medvedev's backhand is a flatter shot, so it sits up a little bit better. The only thing is, first of all, the element of surprise is so important in this game, and it just seemed like Medvedev was reading it here. And the other thing is that Medvedev usually on the forehand passes cross court. Usually. So if I were Tsitsipas's coach, I would tell him to sometimes approach the forehand, mix it up, but approach the forehand and maybe expect that cross court a lot of the time. Because I do believe that that's the more common passing shot by Medvedev. So, I mean, I think just strange that he is so repetitive going to the backhand because it just doesn't seem like an obvious advantage over the forehand pass. Moving on, I think that Medvedev's forehand down the line was a total game changer in this match. And I knew that he was going to use it a lot. I knew that he was going to go down the line probably, and I don't have the numbers, but he probably did it at least 50% of the time, which is predictable, and that's the correct tactic. That's what Jannik Sinner didn't do and he should have done against Tsitsipas. But offensively is where Medvedev was able to surprise me. He really leaned in and hit a lot of great aggressive forehands down the line, and that's what he needs to do to attack the weak point of Tsitsipas's baseline defense. Let's take a moment to talk about Tsitsipas's backhand in this match. I talked about how it was really bad in last year's semifinal. It was good in this match when he was set. Like when they were exchanging backhand to backhand and Tsitsipas was in position to hit the backhand, he hit that one-hander great. Didn't try to do too much with it. Actually, hit some very clutch, aggressive backhands in this match. Didn't really do any damage down the line, but it's tough with Medvedev's speed, and I don't really think that that's quite necessary. I thought Tsitsipas hit it really well. It's the defense that's not there. I mean, he's not comfortable when he's rushed or on the stretch, on the run with that shot, but particularly when he was rushed. And I just thought that Medvedev took advantage of that on a consistent basis with his forehand down the line. And that was a real key because in a lot of respects, Tsitsipas was toe-to-toe as good, if not better, than Medvedev in the baseline exchanges, but that was one area where Medvedev was really gaining ground. I thought it was the key shot for Daniil. I do want to address the set that Tsitsipas won. It was the second set. And again, the quality was really high. There was a lot of good serving in this match. But in the second set, this was a melt by Medvedev. And it's definitely worth discussing because we've seen this for Medvedev. He hit a double fault at 30-15. Then he hit a unforced error forehand in the midcourt at 30-all, first ball. Then at 30-40, he hit another double fault. And then it was like, whoa, that came out of nowhere. That was weird. And it was just strange. And then he starts screaming at the umpire about Apostolos Tsitsipas, Steph's father, his coach, and how Steph's getting coaching. And he's screaming. He's losing it. And it's hard for me to separate that meltdown on the court there on Medvedev's service game and what occurred afterwards with him being so upset. I think, my read on this situation is that he got really pissed at Apostolos there, and it got in his head. And Medvedev needs to work on blocking out the externals and the things he can't control and keeping calm in these situations because, these incidents just add up. And in this case, he wins the match, so it doesn't cost him. But, famously, obviously, in Cincinnati, you have the camera incident, which turned around that match against Rublev. At the U.S. Open in the semifinal against Thiem, the umpire didn't let him challenge, and he completely lost it and lost his focus and lost the first set. Jim Courier asked him this after the match, and Medvedev admitted that it doesn't help him to get, lose his cool like this. So it's definitely something he still needs to work on. The maturity is not really on par with some other players, some of his rivals. Just a weakness, just like anything else for Medvedev. I have to add, and I usually don't make these comments, but I like Medvedev. I think he's a great personality to have on tour. I love the honesty. I love the quirkiness. I love all that. I do wish he treated umpires better. I definitely don't like how he treats umpires, and that's one thing that I would love him to try to change. Lastly, so Tsitsipas wins the second set off of that meltdown. But I also want to credit all the great tennis that Stefanos played in this match. Again, I thought it was a good level from him. I do want to end on the fatigue factor just to kind of address it because most people picking Tsitsipas in this match assume that Medvedev would be tired. I just want to kind of make a statement about fatigue with Medvedev. I understand, right? Because there's no history of Medvedev playing long matches at the end of majors besides 2019 U.S. Open and then coming back and being fine the next match. There's no history of Medvedev as an Ironman like that. I just want to say this. If you expect to win majors, you got to be able to play long matches and come back in 2 days and play another really good 4 or 5 set match. It's just, for the most part, it's a requirement. And I know that there can be some incidents like Medvedev had at the U.S. Open last year where he only drops 1 set, but it's not always going to be like that. So if you think Medvedev's a champion, then these are the kinds of matches that he's going to need to win. You can't play a 5-setter and then just be toast the next round every single time if you're going to be a champion and win multiple majors. So this was good to see from Medvedev. It was definitely another question answered, and this was an intense match, but I expect him to have his physicality with him for the final against Rafael Nadal, as Medvedev looks for his second and Nadal looks for his 21st. I'll have a preview out for you guys tomorrow. Make sure you look out for that. Remember, you can join to support the channel for $2 a month. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.